Well, hello there. My name's HW. Listen, before we go on, I gotta address the elephant in the room. Okay? How are you so good? It's been like 10 years. You gotta stop it, man. You're making other things look bad. You know, New Kids on the Block. They're impressive, but bro, electric piano sounds? Yeah, I guess we got them in the Kemper now. Now listen, hang on. I know this doesn't sound exactly like an electric piano, but come on. That's a vibe, man. That is a vibe. I mean, just... lost playing that. You get lost playing that. I do kind of get lost sometimes playing this 1976, I think, 75 Les Paul Signature. Killer guitar. But listen, here's the secret to this tone. I want to talk about what I'm doing to get this electric piano effect that you can download at the Kemper Tips and Tricks page. It's free, no charge. This is just a cool effect. What I'm using here is a new profile that I don't even think is out yet at the time I'm making this video. It's the 1964 Tremolux. And so you kind of get a free profile, you know, if you take off all the stuff I'm doing with the effects. There you go. It's a cool amp. And if I defeat everything that's sort of wacky and going on, I just have this sound right here. Let me turn my tone back up. You know, it's a good sound. This guitar's got some cool stuff going on, but really what I'm doing is just neck pickup. This is important now for this sound, for this electric piano sound. We want to get rid of the attack of the guitar because the attack of a string being plucked is different than the attack of a tine, which is what's in an electric piano, or really with some of these effects, we almost get a little bit organy. So when I say electric piano, I really mean like Wurlitzer with an effect on it, or like Fender Rhodes kind of with an effect on it, right? So, because we can't get our guitar to sound exactly like that with regular sort of magnetic pickups. But what we're doing is we're rolling back our tone, and that gives, still on the neck, just rolling the tone off, and that gives us something like this. It's a nice, like, fat kind of, kind of like jazzy, throaty kind of thing, right? That's what you want. You can play with getting a little more or a little less of that tone in there. Now the next thing I'm doing is, it's just a normal profile, but I've added a chromatic pitch shift effect. So I'm adding a little bit of detune. I'm going up 1 octave, and then I'm giving it a little bit of balance away from the octave. So I don't want a ton of it, you know what I mean? Right? And once I do that, I'm also adding a little bit of ducking. That ducking just takes away a slight bit of the attack that you would get when I'm plucking the string. So I'm going to put that ducking at 0, and we get this. Also a cool sound, but I don't really love. The attack now takes away from the realism of an electric piano. So what I want to do is up the ducking to like +2 or +3. We're going to try that. Now, okay, that's all good. Now what I'm doing is we have the option of adding some effects. Rhodes, Fender Rhodes electric, Tine pianos, which I love the sound of, by the way. I'm a big fan of the Nord. I have a Nord upstairs, and I use it from time to time, just play around some songs. But I love the sound of an old Rhodes piano. And so what I've given you here is a tremolo effect, and so it'll sound like this. To me, that really, you can get more or less with that effect. You can up the depth. You can change the sort of time. You know what I'm saying? And you can really make it deep, like a deep. We'll go up to 7 here. It's got a thing, That's very cool. The other thing you can do, and all of this, by the way, I sort of, let's see the vibe here. This vibe part and this whole idea I had of making this thing, I have to give a shout out to a buddy of mine named Matt. And Matt on the Kemper boards, he said he got this from Tom Bukovac, which is, going to the neck pickup and turning down your tone and using a bit of octave effect. And I went, that kind of sounds like an electric piano kind of thing. And it could sound like this. It just really sounds different than a guitar. You know what I'm saying? It gives it a different vibe. You turn both of those on, and that's where I really feel like you just get this kind of random electric piano, not one in particular, kind of feel. And then, you can do this thing. But it's really about, if you're going to cop another instrument, you kind of got to try to think like another instrument. So guitar, when you play these chords, it's got all these really busy voicings, right? Like big cowboy chords are 5 or 6 notes all at once. And that can get really busy because you're repeating a lot of notes, right? Like just in a bar chord, if you think about it, you've got a 1, a 5, another 1, an octave up, right? And then you've got your 3rd, right? And then you've got your 5 again, right? And then you've got your octave. So in a bar chord, part of the sound of a guitar is the stacking of those notes that we're all very used to. And guitar has very large stacked chords, and usually it doubles up for a lot of the chord voices that we do on the guitar. A lot of the larger ones, it doubles up on a bass note and on a 5th, right? So it goes so 1 5 1 3 5 1 is a very familiar sound for all of us, right? And so the thing is, piano doesn't do that, right? You wouldn't play a piano with that busy of a chord altogether, and piano players take advantage of a large octave range where they could play that many notes, but they can kind of spread out a little bit more, and they might just they might be selective and put a 7 or a 3 or something on top, right? Which is why, so in this little part, I'm like trying to demonstrate, I'm trying to cop how a piano might voice something. And especially an electric piano is probably played in a style of blues or jazz where there might be sort of something big going on at the low end, but it might be a little bit sparing. It's not like classical piano, and may not get all these dense chord voicings. So all that to say, if you want to sound like an electric piano, you got to learn how to play the guitar like an electric piano, which I'm not an expert in. But you might do something like this. You might go for like a little low kind of note here. And then you might just play with a little voicing and do a little hammer on it. One trick on a piano is you're often they can't slide, right? So they can't go. They don't have a slide. There's got to be an attack on the note, but they can kind of do that. They're not going to be able to bend, right? Is really what I mean. Can't do that. You could the slide on the guitar even isn't going to sound totally true. But like a hammer-on kind of feels like a piano player going from like a black key to a white key real fast, just sort of a lead-in note, right? Or a white to white, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But just like a half step is really what I'm thinking in my head. So check this out. So you might try to sound like a piano by taking advantage of a 1 or 2 low notes and then like a higher sort of thing going on, being a little sparing, you know? Then if you don't care and you just want to have that sound but you want to play like a guitar, that's when you get all into that sounds like a guitar part, you know? That sounds like a melody you could play on a piano. This to me sounds like something I might play on a piano. Esque, right? Piano-esque. Right? Like there, that's a real kind of... Now, look what we've done with the voicing, right? It's kind of a guitar lesson at this point. Look what we've done with the voicing. Instead of having this guitar voice that goes like this, like a set, right? We're doing an A7. Instead of having a guitar voice that says 1, 5, 7, right? And then 3, and then 5, and then 1, right? Instead of that, that's cool. That's an A7, right? But a piano might just go 1, 5, 3. Or it could omit the 5th. Right? Check that out. So we're going to that 3 to 4, right? Piano might do that on the low end, just 1, 5, 7. Because we really don't need major or minor at this point if we're being sparing. That's when I give up that it's a major. Right? And that just might be a little thing a piano might do. You could really get lost in trying to copy the voicings of other instruments on the guitar. In fact, that's a really valuable thing to do and a really fun thing to do. But all this to say, do you want to sound like an electric piano? Hey, you can come in here. To me, that's broody, moody. It reminds me of being in a dive bar in San Francisco and just hearing a dude play on an electric piano while you smoke a cigar, while you enjoy some whiskey, and you just it's a vibe, man. You know, places have vibes, man. And the vibes, they're in the sounds and the memories and the this and the that. Anyway, I've been HW. I hope this has been helpful. You can get this on the Kemper Tips and Tricks page on the Tone Junkie site. And enjoy this. I call it electric piano. HW. Out.